Good evening. We're returning from a non-public, so what we'll do is we'll continue our public. We opened up earlier, and we'll continue it at 6:05.
Perfect.
Do you need to take a roll again, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Suzette, did all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Then?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, nobody here for public comment. We'll get right into the agenda. I want to thank everyone on the board for willing to meet tonight. That way that we won't have to meet on the 29th, and I wanted to, when we went over the warrant articles, I wanted to make sure we had the full board here, and I know on the 29th, we won't have the full board. That would be my fault. I won't be around. So we'll start right on. We'll review the warrant articles.
You want to take up the water budget first, since
I'll do
that's
that
one of
first.
the,
All right,
one of the warrant articles?
We'll do the water budget first, so we'll move the items around a little bit, because I know that's part of the warrants, right? The warrant articles, this is paid for by the users of the water system.
Correct. Water department, as requested in front of you, covering 2 pages to operate, is funded fully by water user fees and the fire suppression lines that go into the buildings as well. So, but for 2026, the request is $512,504, which is about $2,000 higher than previous year. And again, going down through it, because of the system being new, it's hard to find any sort of consistency when it comes to, any of the numbers, they're higher last year, lower this year, and we're not at that point where there's kind of a steady determination, if you will. So,
Yeah, you can see some went up, some went down, so it's kind of.
but what it accounts for, the payments of the debt on the bond that was issued several years ago. It includes the cost of the water operator, who is an outside contractor that helps oversee the system, does the daily monitoring, testing, and the like. And it's enough money to pay for the water that is being pumped into the system from upstream, if you will, to be able to provide to the users. So the electricity, the phone, the payroll, any of those other things, this is enough money to cover the operations for the upcoming 2026 year.
And the number of users pretty much the same as last year. I know you had Wilder Drive, right?
So it's a little higher. And we keep adding, some, users, slow but sure.
Anybody have questions?
I see multiple lines that haven't been expended yet. Are these typically year-end expenses, or are these?
These are some of that unknown that, we just, like for equipment maintenance, it may not have had much spent off it, if at all, or none, but we know that we're 3 years into some of the equipment, and we are, replacing parts and things of that nature. Some of the expenses are zero, because usually at the end of the year, I'll do an analysis of the costs and the expenses, and then pull some out of the general fund to bring over, like some of the heat and things of that nature, double check electricity, gas costs, things of that nature. So kind of an end of year, if you will.
So looking at the first line, last year was $85,000. This year you're requesting 50. We've only expended 12.
Yes.
Are we going to expend the additional 63 or whatever, 70?
No, we will not. The money that was the 85 was left in there with the idea of possibly hiring an additional body over at the highway garage to make it a public works department, not just a highway department. And where we just hired one person, the feeling is we won't be looking for, another one in this upcoming year.
And then the next line is FICA and Medicare,
That's an end of year adjustment that I will look at.
just the end of year adjustment. Okay.
And what, I have the water line repairs, have we expended any of that? And do we anticipate expending any of that? I know we should have something in there.
I don't, hopefully nothing happens between now and the end of the year, but
All right,
It seems like the last couple of years, right? In 24, it was, it was 8,000 and like 6,200 a year ago, so
yeah,
whether something happens or not, hopefully nothing does.
nothing will. Just asking.
Yeah, no. Questions are good. Did anybody have anything else?
In this budget, is there a place where we would have somebody do like marketing to like try to get more users on the line?
in the payroll line item, yes.
Okay.
That can task, an employee with doing that.
Okay. And then, so the last line, water department interest on debt.
Yes.
Can you just talk about those last two lines a little bit? A little more detail?
Right. 5 or 6 years ago, in order to have a pot of money for new users to tap into, because of the expense, we issued a bond. And the proceeds, are deposited in the water fund right now, but we're paying back that bond, the principal and interest on that bond. So this past year, we had our first user take advantage of that. So we've finalized, paperwork and the like to be able to allow the user to have enough capital to be able to do the work. A lot of that work is being reimbursed by the state, but the state doesn't reimburse until the expense is already made. So we have, a short-term financing, if you will, for the property owner user. And so it'll be a big customer.
It's an opportunity for a resident who wants to connect to finance the connection from the street to the house.
That is
right?
correct. Yes,
So
that's what the money is
it's
for.
It's more of a program for residents to be able to easily connect and not have to dish out thousands of dollars. Right?
That is correct. Well,
And they can finance that over time through their water bill and pay that off.
yes.
It's a way to budget.
Yeah, usually what we'll do is, determine the amount and have a quarterly repayment over 3 to 5 years.
Yep. And then, so this is the first person that has signed up since we put this program in play.
Yes.
Wow. It's only taken 5 years.
Yep. And the bond really hasn't cost anything because it was issued before the interest rates went up. And so the money is sitting in the public deposit investment pool, and we're pretty much breaking even, if not making a little bit of money on that, through interest income. Okay. It's at least covering the cost of the interest expense.
Any other questions from anyone? You want us to approve this, or we'll do that with the warrant?
Either or.
I'll make a motion to approve the water department budget in the amount of $512,504.
I'll second it.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
6500. Now we can go into the warrant. All right, we'll take them one at a time. For the first one, Greg, the general fund, we're still waiting on the final number for that, right?
Yeah, letting the budget committee do their thing and approve a final number.
So once we get that final number from them, the budget committee, then we'll re-vote on this one.
Yeah, they've gotten through all the budgets. They just need to vote on the final number. So I don't know if they're meeting tomorrow night. I didn't see any meeting posted, so.
So then they wouldn't be meeting till after.
30th. 30th,
Oh,
maybe.
they are gonna meet once more this year?
Think so.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So then we can approve it at our first meeting and then have it
Yeah.
back over to them once we look at whatever the number is.
I'll reach out to the BudCom chair to see when the next meeting is,
Perfect, thank you.
and then we'll see if we can nail down that final number.
Thank you. Okay, so next one up, we'll have operating budget, water department, which will be Article P-26-03. Do we have to read all these still good?
Summary is fine usually.
Yep, so this is the water department, which obviously is the budget we just spoke about. So what it would be, the total appropriation would be $512,504, which would be the withdrawal from the water enterprise fund in that same amount. And so,
Make a motion to approve operating budget, water department, Article P-2603 for $512,504.
I'll second.
second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
So it's 500. The next warrant article is the collective bargaining agreement for the town union. This will be Article P-26-04. This will be, shall the town of Plastow vote to approve the cost items included in the collective bargaining agreement reached between Town of Plastow and the Plastow Town Unit Teamsters Local 633, which calls for the following increases in salaries and benefits at the current staffing level. So what we need for the first year, to raise and appropriate, it would be $40,329 to cover 2026. And this is for a 3-year agreement. Anybody have questions on this one? I know we spoke about it.
The dates will be changed on that.
Yes, I just caught that.
That's what threw me off a little bit as I
I know.
was looking at it.
I got the numbers updated, but not the dates.
Yes, so the estimated increase for the first year would be $53,773. Second year is $24,484. And the third year would be $24,930.
Greg, what's the total? You had the total, so you mentioned it.
It's approximately $103,000 over the 3 years, which is a slightly less than what it was 3 years ago. But in general, it's to increase starting pay, but also recognize COLA, increase longevity to match the police contract.
And this helps us to be a little more competitive with trying to fill positions.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, the first year is 26 and 27. Second year is 27, 28. The third year is 28, 29. So this covers us up to 29. Any other questions from anyone?
No, I make a motion to accept the collective bargaining agreement, Article P-2604.
Second.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor?
Aye.
So it's 500. And so then after that, we'll have the special town meeting for defeated collective bargaining agreement. This will be Article P-26-05. Shall the town vote if Article P-26-04 is defeated, authorize the Board of Selectmen to call one special meeting at its option to address warrant Article P-26-04, cost items only. So the only reason we would need this is if -04 is defeated.
That is correct.
I'll make a motion to recommend P-2605, special town meeting for defeated collective bargaining agreement.
Second that.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So it's 500. The next one up is the contingency fund, which is RSA 31:98-A. This will be Article P-26-06. This would be to raise and appropriate the sum of $85,000. The withdrawal would be from the general fund unassigned fund balance for $85,000. This is an article we generally have every year. And if you could just say kind of, Greg, what this kind of covers through the year that we've used it for? Contingency fund?
It's for unanticipated expenses that are not included in the budget, repairs, failures of systems, things of that nature, if we don't have money in the CIP as well.
Yep.
In years past, it's been used for roof replacements, the PFAS, PFOAs, things of that nature.
Because I know generally we have to go through it every year, it seems.
There always seems to be something that comes up.
And we use, this past year, did we use it for when we had to switch assessors? Utilize some of
Primarily, there's some other repairs and things of that nature that are also been charged there.
Anyone have any questions on that one?
No, I make a motion to recommend Article P-26-06.
Second.
Second by Jay. All those in favor?
Aye.
So it's 500. The next one is we're starting to get into kind of the CIP things. Deposit the Highway Department Equipment Expendable Trust Fund. We Article P-26-07. This will be for the town to raise and appropriate the sum of $100,000 to be deposited into the previously established Highway Department Equipment Expendable Trust Fund. I know this is something every year we do. It's to set money aside for future purchases.
Didn't we say 125? Because this was down from 150 when we met
I
last
thought that
week.
was for the fire, wasn't it?
Those are the
No,
Oh, you're
that's
right.
for
Sorry,
11.
That's for
sorry,
fire, right?
Yes.
sorry. I missed the highway.
Yep.
The prednisone.
Oh, no problem. Your mind's already on Santa. All right, any questions?
And make a motion to deposit the Highway Department Equipment Expendable Trust Fund, Article P-2607 at $100,000.
I'll second that.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's 500. Next one up will be the deposit to the Building Expendable Trust Fund, Article P-26-08. It'll be for the town to vote and raise appropriate the sum of $60,000, which will be deposited into the previously established Building Expendable Trust Fund. So this is really just for the buildings.
That is for buildings, but specifically, there is the front, it's an increase over last year because of the ramp on the front of Town Hall is in serious disrepair and the like, and needs to be replaced. So
Right, and has to be compliance and all that we have to read.
this would cover the majority of it, along with the money that's already
In the
been
fund.
set aside in the fund, yes.
Between what's in the fund and this, that will cover everything. And that's really gonna be like a complete tear down. They're gonna have to
Yes,
take the whole thing down and build it all right back up again.
correct.
Make a motion to recommend Article P-2608, deposit to Building Expendable Trust Fund.
Second.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
So it's 500. Next warrant article will be the deposit to the Library Capital Reserve Fund, Article P-2609. It will be for the town to vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $55,000, which will be deposited into the Library Capital Reserve Fund, which I know they used last year. They did some work on the seal to the driveway. I know they had some roof work done over there.
Yep.
That building's now 25 years old, which is hard to believe. So there are certain things happening over there, but it would just to keep it so whenever something needs to be done there, we have money into that fund, CIP.
Well, and they do have a plan that they've been working off for a few years now, about upgrades and the like, so.
Yep, they have. They've kept that building in good shape. All
Make
right.
a motion to recommend P-2609, deposit to Library Capital Reserve Fund.
I'll second.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next one is a deposit to the revaluation capital reserve fund, Article P-26-10. This will be for the town to vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be deposited into the established revaluation capital reserve fund. I know we had to use some of the money that was in there last year, obviously not enough. We had to, that was for the reval in town, so it would obviously lighten it when it has to be done again. I know we don't, usually it's every 5 years. Can't say it's gonna happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if if we look at things, we may have to do it sooner than that. Wouldn't totally shock me. If things come back the other way.
I make a motion to support the deposit into the reevaluation of capital reserve fund, Article P-26-10 for $25,000.
I'll second.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
So I just want to add that reevaluation, it's to set money aside for the anticipation of having to do the reevaluation. So this will help us level fund the large increase of a full reevaluation, which I think would cost us somewhere around $200,000.
225.
For
Right.
reval.
So this will help level the cost, so we're not adding $225,000 to the budget in 1 year and you see such a large increase. This is to help level it over time.
And it is something that has to be done every 5 years.
Correct.
Next up is deposit, the fire department apparatus capital reserve fund, Article P-26-11. So town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $150,000 to be deposited into the previously established fire department apparatus capital reserve fund. I know this is one that came back for us from CIP to see if we thought we could lower it to $125,000, which we can lower it to anything, but I think the one thing we need to think about as we talk about it, if you lower it from 150 to 125, that means that $25,000 gap is going to have to be made up at some point. So next year, say you want it to spread out over 5 years or whatever it is, you would then have to go back up to say 155 or whatever. So I don't know what everyone's thoughts are on that, opinions.
Well, I guess the question is do we anticipate the taxpayers are going to support 150,000?
That's always the unknown, right?
Right, that's the unknown. So do we try to make it a little more palatable by dropping it down
And then with
to
anticipation,
125?
next year, we'd probably have to put up to 150 and probably 155 and make up that gap over 5 years.
Right. And try and figure that out. And, as we're working on the CIP next year,
Yep.
figuring out exactly what that's going to look like when we're sitting with
Right. So
department heads.
so it depends how we want to do it. Eventually, you have to get there because obviously you want money there when it comes time to purchase these years from now.
Absolutely.
So thoughts, ideas, what would everyone kind of prefer? What do you think?
Maybe go back to the well and build it higher next year instead of keeping it consistent at the buck and a hay. And I understand it saves 25,000, but then you're building it back up again.
Last year, the request was 140. This year, he bumped it up 10,000,
Right.
150 to 150.
Because we lowered it
Oh, we lowered it.
170 a couple of years
Yeah,
ago.
we
right?
lowered it when we got the grant
Yes.
for that truck. So we were able to lower it several years ago because of that.
So the increase is to try to build up that offset from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So we're trying to make up from years back as it is
We're
right
still
now.
making up for lost time.
Yeah. And the cost of those vehicles, those are not cheap.
Right. And we already have an engine being built, correct?
3 years.
Yeah, there's one going now that we had grant money for, but we had to pay some money for that as well. The town paid
20% of it,
about
somewhere
200,000 somewhere. around there.
250,000 roughly.
And because we had money in the CIP, we were able to
Correct.
take
To do
advantage
that.
of that grant. If there was no money in the CIP when that grant became available, we wouldn't have been able to
Wouldn't
get
have
that engine, and that grant was worth 800,000 in that neighborhood.
Yeah. But there may not be grants available
You
on
never
the road.
know.
You don't know.
You don't
We
know
don't have a
what there
crystal
is.
ball.
So, I mean, if you go down, then the thought is next year, we're gonna have to get it up to 150 plus. So would you rather keep maintaining it at the level, level it at 150, so it stays consistent, then it's just 150 next year, instead of having to bump it up 30,000 next year?
Yeah, that would hurt.
Right, if it
That-
doesn't
that's
go
a big
through this
jump.
year,
That
if we go
would
down to
be-
130 and it doesn't go through this year,
Mhm.
likelihood that us going up next year and getting it approved is,
Yeah. I mean, you could go back to what we had it at last year, keep it
Well,
at what
we
it
could
was
do the
last
one
year.
Level fund it, 140.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, just keep it what we had it at.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we need to make a motion?
I'll make a
to change
motion
it?
to recommend Article P 2611, deposit the fire department apparatus capital reserve for $140,000.
Second.
All those in favor?
I,
It's 500. And that's just level funding to keep it there.
Right.
All right,
My concern with the CIP is that we're going to do this analysis and we're going to need to
bump these up quite a bit.
bump these up,
Have some conversations that
Yeah,
are going to be
but
hard.
that's all going to be through that planning document, so.
Right. Next is another CIP. It's deposit to the fire department equipment capital reserve fund. Article P-26-12, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of 30,000 to be deposited into the established fire department equipment capital reserve fund. This is for their general equipment, their hoses and such like that. All those tools that have to be replaced. And that's the
is this
same,
the same amount as last year?
same as last year. So it stays the same. Yeah, most of these, they really, as we go through them, they stayed the same as last year. That was the only difference I think we really
Yeah,
had.
it was the only, yeah.
Right.
Did the chief give any detail as to what specifically he would need to purchase this year? Because I know over the last couple of years, we did like a heart monitor or an AED for the fire.
It's just, I believe it's just really things that he needs to replace as time goes for maintenance, because things come out of warranty, like hoses, they're only good for so many years. And other type of equipment has to be replaced so often. Helmets are only good for so long.
Are we good? I make a motion to recommend the deposit to the Fire Department Equipment Capital Reserve Fund, Article P 26-12 for the sum of $30,000.
I'll second that.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so it's 500. Next is deposit to the fire department radio capital reserve fund, Article P-26-13. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $20,000 to be deposited into the previously established fire department radio capital reserve fund? This is one, they replace so many a year, I believe. They're on a cycle now, a maintenance that they're doing every year.
I think this covers like 2 to 3.
Right, and they're doing that every year to keep everything up to date.
Make a motion to recommend Article P 2613 for $20,000 for the deposit to Fire Department Radio Capital Reserve Fund.
I'll second that.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
So 500. Let's see, next up, another CIP item, deposit to the Public Safety Communication Capital Reserve Fund, Article P-26-14. This will be for the town to vote and to raise and appropriate the sum of $80,000 to be deposited into the previously established Public Safety Communication Capital Reserve Fund. And this is going specifically
For all the equipment and the like, related to the communication system, we oversee 2 or 3 different towers around town and the like. So there's expensive equipment at every tower, including at the PD. But in addition, looking, to the future to set money aside for, a communications upgrade.
Right, which we know is coming probably sooner rather than later. They're gonna
Yes.
need- Yeah, unfortunately, all that equipment it changes so rapidly.
Do you have an idea on what that upgrade looks like? Like how many years out we're looking at?
Oh,
5 years, 3?
I'm not sure.
Big number.
I know that the chief had looked into, getting grants to help support this.
That's correct.
Has there been any more movement on coming up with a plan for that?
As far as the grants, we've been awarded grants through congressional direct spending each of the last 2 years, but with the budget troubles in Washington, we have lost $1 million plus each of the last 2 years. But we were awarded the grants. They were not funded at the federal level.
Okay. So if we had those grants, what was the plan to fix
Well,
the structure?
it would be to work with the vendors to figure out a plan to, hit the key components first, whether it's, tower builds. But if we had that money as well, it would allow us to go to the other commercial properties in town to be able to sit with them, given a plan to help build those towers and locations and the like. But without that money, it's hard to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So do we even put this up?
Currently sitting on a quote for $116,000 to upgrade and replace some of the damaged equipment up at one of the tower sites. So yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Is that the one off of 108?
Yes, the one up off of 108.
I'll make a motion to recommend Article P26-14, deposit to the Public Safety Communications Capital Reserve Fund in the amount of $80,000.
I'll
Second.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So 500. Another CIP one we have on here that we usually have every year. It's deposit to the Police Vehicle Capital Reserve Fund. Shall be Article P-26-15. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate $80,000 to be added to the previously established Police Vehicle Capital Reserve Fund? As we saw, we approved at our last meeting 2 of them. They have a maintenance cycle that refresh. Next year, from talking to them, there'd be 1, I believe, is what they're probably looking at. I think what they're looking at is go 2-1, 2-1, 2-1
Yeah.
is kind of how they're figuring it out, the way the mileage is falling. Obviously, that could change in any given year.
Does this 80,000 cover the cost of replacing one vehicle?
Yes.
Roughly, yes.
Make a motion to recommend Article P26-15, deposit to the Police Vehicle Capital Reserve Fund.
I'll second.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that's 500. And then we got deposit to the Cemetery Special Maintenance Expendable Trust Fund. This will be Article P-26-16. This will be shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $25,000 to be deposited into the previously established Cemetery Special Maintenance Expendable Trust Fund. This is really to cover more than anything is probably the build out that we have for the new section. Plus I know it's to replace a lot of the headstones that have, as through age, they've kind of cracked,
Yeah.
some have fallen over.
Repair, replace
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Right. So I know, that's what this money would be used for.
Correct.
Will this money also finish up what's left in the cemetery expansion?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay.
Because they're in the middle now of
I think we're
Kind of
pretty
putting the
much,
lots out. It's
pretty
like
much
kind
in
of,
the last phase.
yeah, it's kind of like map out the lots now, I think.
We're in the
That's-
process of mapping out the lots, so it would be, whatever the board decides you want to add, if it's, fencing on, one side, but just to kind of finish off, the project, put the final touches on it.
Make a motion to recommend Article P 2616, deposit to cemetery special maintenance expendable trust fund.
I'll second.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so it's 500. And that is basically the ones that we've always
Done.
done. So they've been on this. So there are a couple of new ones that we wanted to add on. Requested to add on what would be, let's see, hire police officers. 2 police officers, traffic enforcement, it would be Article P-26-17. Shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $150,000 for the purpose of hiring 2 full-time police officers to be assigned for traffic enforcement? So, Greg, that would only cover, it was
6 months.
6 months.
Yep.
And the only thing these police officers would do would just be traffic enforcement, speeding, things like that. They wouldn't be involved in calls or anything like that.
Only on an emergency basis or on a shorthand basis, but the majority of the time would be assigned to traffic enforcement.
And this would essentially put additional officer on during a shift
Yes,
dedicated to traffic.
correct.
So the other 2 officers that can do traffic, but primarily they're pulling people over all the time. But they're, if they have another call that they need to go to, they can't do traffic. And if they have to arrest someone, the other police officer has to meet with them. So that 3rd officer wouldn't have to go to that call and just would be pulling people over, enforcing traffic,
Yes, correct.
speed, and whatnot. So
I think there's a lot of discussion in town with a lot of people worried about the
There,
speeding.
there are, but I think the big thing I look at on this, it's the expense of it, right?
Yep.
Right.
And you're talking 150,000 that would only cover 6 months. So I mean, the following year, you're talking double that,
Right, and that would
300.
be salary, benefits.
right? That would cover all of that, right? So that's kind of where I'm having the problem. I'd love to be able to, wish we could have everybody out there. But that's my sticking point on it.
Mhm.
I mean, could you get down to 1? We could get down to
Can we do
1.
one and then maybe see how that goes and then do another one? Because I'm sure the chief knows when the busiest times of the day are in the hot spots.
Yeah. And if that's all it's going to be is just strictly traffic, I think 2's a tough number. That's just my opinion. I don't know what everyone else thinks. Everyone else, thoughts?
Well, I know.
I think we,
Oh, go ahead, John.
go ahead.
Sorry.
My thoughts is it's, we're stepping into a whole new realm here of a dedicated officer, and I'd like to see it start off slower, a little more palatable to the budget than jumping in 2 feet deep.
Right.
So if we could cut it down to 1 at 75, and then let the people decide.
Right.
And that's what this is all about, is putting it out in front of them.
Yeah.
They're the ones that,
Yeah.
I mean, we all have our concerns about speeding, but we kind of have our hands
That's why
tied.
we're putting it out there, is to see
So my
how people actually
position
feel
would
about
be
it.
to go with 1 at 75.
Yeah,
And Jay, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, listening to folks in the public, they're concerned about speeding around town. This is a potential option that we can offer because, we can't always do 100% traffic enforcement. So this is an opportunity to do that. I'd go down to 1, but to give us a little, what would 100,000 do? Would that give you a whole year?
But I think we're talking 6 months.
Well-
I'm assuming because of hiring and everything.
by the time you approve, if it does get approved in March, by the time they go out, they advertise, they do, all of the steps through the hiring a police officer, I'm figuring we won't have anybody on board until around July 1.
So the 75 would cover that person until
6
from
months.
July to the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay.
And as it stated before, it'd be the salary, the benefits, the New Hampshire, the retirement, uniforms, training, the whole 9 yards from that standpoint.
Yeah, I think, right now, I think 2 is too many.
I think it gives us something to base off of. If we
Yeah.
have one, and then we have 6 months of
And the thing is, like,
understanding of what's happened with that one.
yeah, and what was said, it goes out to the voters. If the voters don't want it, they vote no, and then we move on with what we have. It's pretty much that simple.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll make a motion to recommend Article P 2617, hire police officers, change that from 2 to 1. Traffic enforcement for the sum of $75,000.
I'll second.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
500. The next one was also a new one. It's mowing and upkeep, Route 125 islands and other common areas. Article P-26-18. This is, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $100,000 for the purpose of hiring an outside contractor for the mowing and grounds maintenance of traffic islands along Route 125 in town, along with other common areas. This would include safety equipment necessary to meet New Hampshire DOT standards. My thoughts on this one is I'm sitting in no right now, just because we turn this back over to the state. I know we do get our complaints from people in town. And I mean, I have no problem with it being on the ballot. Let everyone decide. But those are my thoughts. So that's why we turned it over. I don't know how everyone else feels, what they think. Greg, do you have an opinion on it?
I'm, again, listening to, the wants and the requests from the citizens of the town, but also in preparation with Main Street calming and the safe routes to schools, that we do have other areas that are or are not being maintained currently. So it all costs money. And again, I put it before the voters. If the voters,
No, I have no problem with going in front of the voters. I just, right now, I'm just not on board with the money. That's just how I feel on this one.
Where did we come up with the number?
it's just an estimate.
Okay.
But, yeah.
And that would be the 125. I just want to
It would
understand.
be up and down 125. It would be the purchase of equipment as
So we
well.
would need to purchase the equipment.
The DOT does have specific standards on, lane closures and the like with regards to 2 and 4 lane roads. So we don't have enough equipment to support, the proper lane closures.
So we would do this and then basically take over the state's job by doing this.
In effect, yes, because the state's not doing it.
Yeah, and I can say, we do get, there were emails that come in every year, probably around July, August, somewhere in that
Because it's out of
timeframe.
control.
We're saying, when are we gonna, take care of that? And it's on it's the state. We originally had it, then we gave it back voted to give it back to the state.
I mean,
It's maintained. So it's all what everyone feels.
I say let the voters vote on it and,
I think I agree, the voters should vote on it.
yeah,
I think they should vote on it. I think it's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so now it's just a matter of,
but the equipment,
Right.
now it's a matter of how we want to vote, right?
Nay.
Well, someone's gonna make a motion.
Okay. So I make a motion to recommend the mowing of 125 islands and other common areas, Article P 2618, at the sum of $100,000.
Right. So with the way the motion is, if you're in favor of doing it, vote yes. If you're not, then vote no.
Need a second?
Need a second. I'll second. Any more discussion, thoughts?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna vote no. Because the state does maintain it, but they don't do a great job, but it does look like crap. At least they put a weed whacker in this year, and when they did do it, it looks a little tidier. But I just don't think we have the resources to do this.
So maybe we had Danny and them do it one year, and it was a nightmare for those poor guys out there.
I just, how often are we going to go and maintain it? Every 2 weeks? Because the state only comes down twice a year now.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is going to be our schedule to maintain it?
It'd be whatever we wanted the contractor to do. Every, couple times a month.
And what's that cost? We don't know.
Right.
And then we have to supply the equipment, and I struggle with that.
I vote no.
All right, all those in favor? All those opposed?
Aye.
So it's 0-5-0.
So are we even putting this on the ballot?
Well, that's the question.
My opinion is I would put it on the ballot and let the voters decide.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
That's my opinion.
Yep.
I think that's exactly what we should do.
Yep.
Okay.
And let the budget committee vote on it, and
Let them, yeah, and if, that's my thoughts. Let the voters decide.
Yeah, it's just,
let the voters vote.
Sorry, I'm just,
no, I'm right.
So
Do we have to
I-
hire another person then in order to do this job or to
Well, no.
oversee it? I know we're hiring a contractor, but then we got the maintenance on the equipment, so on and so forth. It's
Too
just,
much.
I'm just questioning the logistics of the warrant article. So we failed to recommend it. So if we need to recommend it to put it on the ballot, right? No.
No, you can put it on the ballot
Put it
just
on.
without a
We can put it on,
recommendation.
we personally, for our decisions, are a no against it.
Okay. Just, I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
I understand.
edification.
You as a
Mine
board
works, I'm
don't
just-
support it, but you're willing to let the voters
Decide.
overrule you and vote, theoretically.
Just say don't put it out there, but whatever. Let's put it out there and see what comes back.
And the last one, Municipal Transportation Improvement Fund, RSA 261:153, Roman numeral 6, Article P-26-19. Shall the town vote to adopt the provisions of RSA 26:153, Roman numeral 6, to authorize the town clerk to collect the additional fee of $5 per motor vehicle registration for the purpose of creating a municipal transportation improvement fund, which shall be a capital reserve fund established for this purpose and governed by the provisions of RSA 35, and further to name the select board as agents to expend from this fund. Said fee to become effective April 1st, 2026. Greg, the full purpose of this?
To raise money towards transportation projects. It can be sidewalks, it can be line striping, it can be, you can use it to help, do a match on a highway or a bridge project. It's for just a small way of, collecting monies from not only, anybody that registers, vehicles, commercial, renters, anybody that comes into the clerk's
Yeah,
office.
This one I think makes sense because it helps cover a lot of different things in town.
It's
You know,
a
it's-
small bite.
It's small, it's $5. I mean, in case you we decided we want signs somewhere, or like a little meeting like we did kind of on Westville Road, right? That would be from that, something like
Yes.
that.
if we wanted
It's a
sidewalks down
small
Greenup
bite,
Road, but from
aren't
the high
they
school,
adding in now that we don't have
that would be a good one.
stickers on our, we having to spend more on our registrations and so forth through the state besides this?
January 1, yes.
This is January 1. So there is an additional
Yeah.
fee besides this that's going to be
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
This is obviously is for our town, but
Right.
just
Like,
keep it in the back of your head that
a lot of people want sidewalks from the high school.
Right.
Going down that
we don't
road.
get anything out of that.
This fund would
No,
potentially be used for that.
this one,
Could be.
I'll support this one. I think this one makes sense because there are certain things, I mean, we don't know if another Westville Road might pop up somewhere. Because we could be looking at, if we wanted to do something at Chandler, which that would be on us because that's a town road. And if they know something, at some point, we're gonna have to talk about.
Yes.
There's a guy with
I'll make 'em-
three cars and various other things in my yard. I'm signing my own bills here.
Well, and if we're moving ahead with this traffic calming too, we need to maintain the curbing, sidewalks going forward, the drainage, so this will help go towards that in the future.
Right, and the striping.
Striping, the
Crosswalks.
Yeah,
So-
striping of the
So that's,
crosswalks. Yep.
that's a real good point, Jay, right there.
Yeah,
So I think that's
Because we
probably
will
one
have to
of the,
and the
maintain it,
possibility of getting new equipment to manage
yeah, the sidewalks.
the
or whatever.
sidewalks in the streets.
I'll make a motion to recommend Article P 2619, Municipal Transportation Improvement Fund, for the additional fee of $5 per motor vehicle.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
500.
Does that one need to go to the budget committee?
I,
Not a money.
it's not a money one. I'm going to double check on that. So I circled it and put a question mark next to it to follow up.
So,
So if anyone is keeping track, the total for all those warrant articles is $675,000. If they all get approved. Just throwing it out there.
It's a good chunk.
next up, we need to make a decision on selling 2 old police vehicles at auction. Last meeting, we approved the purchase of 2 vehicles, so we have 2 obviously be coming out of service. They would be the 2016 Ford Explorer. And it's over 10 years, and that mileage on that one is over 122,000. And then there's a 2019 Dodge Charger that's over 100,000 as well. So questions on that at all? These would be going off to auction, correct?
Correct.
I know I kind of said it in jest, but can we stick one of these somewhere until we get rid of them? Help slow things down a little bit.
Put a dummy in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, put like an elf blow up doll or something. You know.
I will mention it to the chief again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'll motion to allow the police department to sell 2 older vehicles at auction. The first vehicle is a 2016 Ford Explorer that has been part of the fleet for over 10 years. The mileage is 355. The other vehicle being the 2019 Dodge Charger with 103,069 miles on it.
I'll second that.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's 500. And you do need to add an item to the agenda. It's items to be encumbered. You got that? So we've got a few items that we want to encumber. By doing this, then hopefully it'll save you guys from not having to meet on the 29th. What are we looking to encumber?
So looking, obviously through and knowing what contracts are out there, the balance of the audit contract, which all information and the like is in the hands of the auditors. And given the holidays, I'm not sure whether they will get to it before the end of the year. We have the quote for the election machines and the maintenance fee of those machines. And then lastly, the impact fee agreement that was signed as well. So those 3 items total $52,500.
And I know the election machines, those will be delivered in January.
Correct.
When are they coming in?
January.
January.
And then we'll all be trained in how to use them.
Yes.
Okay. I'm very excited.
No, they'll just throw us to the wolves.
That's right.
There you go. Figure it out.
Yeah, so that, questions on what we have on the list to encumber this year? We always have something.
Try to keep it to a minimum, but there's just no avoiding some of this year.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the election machines, they're not getting delivered until next year, so there's not much you can do about that.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion?
Yes.
Yes.
I make a motion to encumber $52,500 $500 from the 2025 budget to fund outstanding contract balances.
I'll second.
Second by Jay. All those in favor?
Aye.
So 500. We need to approve the consent agenda. Items that we have to approve are the accounts payable manifest for December 18th, 2025, POS draft minutes of 12/15/2025, and deputy treasurer appointment Emily Blair. Somebody wants to make a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda for December, for today. Sorry,
There you go.
22nd. I second.
I'm
Second by-
struggling.
Second. Just a question, so the treasurer, that's the assistant treasurer, right? So
This is a deputy treasurer.
Deputy, so someone's retiring from that role and we're adding someone else into it?
That is correct.
And
And
they're just going to be more of a backup to the
more
treasurer?
of a backup, and the primary responsibility has been check signing, because the treasurer, a few years ago, we approved the appointment of a treasurer versus the election of somebody in town because we were having trouble. So the current treasurer does most of the things remote and the like, and is not in the area to sign checks on a regular basis. So we have a deputy treasurer that's been appointed with somebody here at Town Hall that is available to sign checks
Great.
with the approval of the treasurer.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, things have been kind of slow in the holiday mode. I know where I work, things have been real slow in the last week or so. So did you have anything, Greg, for your town manager's report?
I would just add a couple. I did attend the executive council meeting last
vote on
week.
that?
Did we vote?
I don't think we voted.
No, we
Didn't
didn't
vote,
vote.
no.
I made the motion.
I second that.
Seconded. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Holiday mode.
Rosa? Thank you. Keep me honest.
It's just not me. Thanks.
Back to Greg.
All right, so no problem. I did, attend the executive council meeting that approved the ALS grant, but further, I ended up meeting and Commissioner Quinn from the Department of Safety, who Executive Counselor Stevens had put me in touch with, and I've been working with the commissioner and then the police chief to bring State Police Enforcement Division down here. So I did hear from somebody in that division, and they had spoken to the chief, or they left a message for the chief as well. So we're moving forward with getting a task force together to get state police down here to enforce truck traffic and the like on Main Street and the surrounding areas. So it made
Excellent.
great progress on that. So
Good to hear.
other than that, it's the usual stuff.
Was the commissioner happy that we're moving ahead with the traffic calming as well?
He wasn't aware of it.
Wasn't aware of the letter yet? Okay.
Different division, completely Department of Safety, and Department of Safety has their, they oversee everything from the fire academy to Marine Patrol, state police, driver licensing, registrations, titles. So it's a big department. So.
Thank you.
Perfect. I don't know if there's much in the way of selectmen's reports. I know on my end, it's been pretty quiet. Just had a planning board meeting last week, so all I had. Tyler, did you have anything?
No, I'm in holiday mode and
Yeah.
just trying to make sure I get everything bought for the kids and the wife and the family. So I'm good.
There you go. Liz?
I'm all set. I'm all wrapped too.
Jay?
I had a budget meeting last week. They've finished voting on all the budgets, so hopefully, I don't know when the next meeting is at this point, but I'll touch base with the chair and find out. Could we send over the draft warrant articles with the votes that we've approved to them? And can you include the water department budget? Because I'm sure
Yeah.
there'll be questions when we get talking about the warrant articles. So thank you. Other than that, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody.
Holiday mode.
There you go. Like I said earlier, I just had the planning board last week. The only one thing I'd like to do before we close out is to thank Santa and the fire department for coming around town yesterday. It's always an event that everybody around town looks forward to every year.
It's always fun.
It's actually kind of fun. I think the adults actually enjoy it maybe more than the kids.
I was out waiting on my porch.
Yeah. But it's funny. It's like you start seeing, your neighbors all coming out, and it's like, you don't have kids anymore. And I'm right there with them too, so.
I might have been in an inflatable costume for it, who knows?
Yeah. Did anybody have anything? Anybody else have anything?
You know what? There is ice skating next Monday, 10 to 12 at the Haverhill Rink for the kids that are on vacation through the rec.
Did they just show up?
They just show up and the parents will sign a waiver right there.
And
They rent their own skates for a fee, or you can bring your own skates and skate for free.
They have to bring helmets or anything like that?
Helmets are not required, but recommended.
Okay. So you can even just wear a bike helmet or something like that. It's no problem. Is there anything else that rec has going on?
They're doing at the Vic Geary next Tuesday a New Year's Eve party. I believe it's 10 a.m.
Okay.
And there is a Mrs. Claus at the Norman Major Building at 10 a.m.
Is that
on the
Tomorrow.
23rd, tomorrow,
Tomorrow, yeah.
for toddlers.
Yeah.
Make some
That's-
crafts.
What time is that?
10 a.m.
Good. Yeah, they had a lot going on. They've had a busy month.
They've been plowing through and tons of events and senior teas and all this stuff. It's been going
Yep.
good.
Good to see.
I love that they keep moving it forward.
So, as a board, we want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year.
We didn't do these.
Oh,
You missed some.
got one thing. Sorry, I jumped the gun.
Christmas movie.
Let's take our
We have to approve non-public.
from last meeting.
Everyone out there right now is probably saying, what the heck's going on with Bill? He's lost his mind.
There you go.
Too much eggnog, I guess, for me tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-public minutes for December 15th and to keep them sealed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Got everything now, Beth, before I get flagged down again? I'll try to stay off the eggnog this next time.
Big ho, 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 and a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, and with that, the Board of Selectmen want to wish everyone in town Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. We don't have another meeting until next year, which would be January 5th, which is hard to say. But everyone, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. Enjoy the time with your family and friends. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Merry
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.